Top 10 Most Commonly Committed Crimes Around the World. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Crimes have always been a major problem in many nations. Those who bend the laws are tagged as criminals and were ought to be put in jail. Though there are stiff penalties for doing a crime, there remain to be a certain number of people who commit them. The crimes that most people from around the world are most guilty of are 10. Domestic violence. While domestic violence is likely to occur between spouses, cases wherein children or other family members were harmed or physically abused is also considered as an act of domestic violence. Domestic violence is a very delicate crime, especially for children, as it leaves a permanent mental impression on them. Studies show that the children who were abused young tend to lean into alcoholism or drug addiction as they grow up. 9. Rape. Rape is a crime commonly committed against women, although many men have declared being sexually abused as well. Rape is a horrible crime because it explicitly shows the overpowering of a person's will against another. However, only around 25% of rapists end up in jail, as many victims chose to be mum about their predicament or worse, forgive their perpetrator. 8. Fraud. Upon the arrival of the internet, cases of fraud became even more prevalent. Online racketeering became a major problem around the world, on top of the usual doings of scrupulous individuals elsewhere. Banking and ATM frauds are most common, followed by education, business, and investment scams. 7. Prostitution. Prostitution is among the crimes whose principal perpetrator is a woman. While there are male prostitutes as well, the issue of a woman selling sex for a living is much more common. However, it is also true that there are countries around the world where such a trade is legal. But for those where it is not, law enforcers tend to charge both the prostitute and her customer for the same crime. 6. Murder. Provoked or unprovoked, murder remains to be one of the most severe crimes ever committed against another person. If you take away somebody else's life regardless of the reason, it's murder. For more exciting videos, hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. The criminal have to be taken to jail until his case was tried and decided in the court. There's a possibility that one will walk away with murder, but it will be the jury or the judge who has the last say on that. Guilty or not, the utter disregard for life remains to be a very heinous crime. 5. Robbery. Robbery is a violent crime because it involves hurting people, whether physical, emotional, or mental, in the process of taking what rightfully belongs to them. Mugging is robbery. Sticking up a convenience store is robbery. These crimes are very common in the world over. And sadly, everyone can be a victim. Protecting oneself against these crimes is highly encouraged. 4. Illegal drugs. Crimes related to illegal drugs are one of the world's worst problems. The selling and use of these drugs are highly prohibited by the law, as doing so could lead to another crime. The mere possession of illegal drugs is punishable by law. However, drugs are considered as precious commodities in the underworld. Huge money is always associated with them. These are the reasons why drug dealing is a major headache for many countries around the world. 3. Traffic-related crimes. Traffic-related crimes are not mere violations of the traffic light or signs. These crimes involve accidents that are usually committed by people who are drunk and driving. Cases of hit and run, which involve a motorist hurting a pedestrian and running away from the consequences, are also rampant crimes that need to be controlled. 2. Assault. If you physically hurt another person, that's assault. You'll be charged with a crime and for all the damages that your actions have caused. Assault is usually triggered by anger or another crime. This is the most common issue in places where people do not trust law enforcement to serve justice for them. Instead, they have decided to take the law into their own hands. 1. Theft. The most common crime committed around the world is theft. This is a crime against the property, so it is not as violent as robbery. But they essentially mean the same thing. Theft is usually triggered by a person's economic condition. It comes in different types, like motor vehicle theft, which is very common in the United States. Elsewhere, theft committed through home or office invasion is rather widespread.